The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber swung open with a low hum. All eyes turned to the entrance as the human delegation stepped inside. The chamber fell silent, filled with a mix of curiosity and barely hidden disdain. Captain Sarah Chen led the small group of humans. Her steps were confident, her chin held high. Behind her walked Dr. Amit Patel, Earth's leading xenobiologist, and Major John Smith, their military advisor. They looked tiny compared to the towering alien beings around them. The council chamber was a sight to behold. Its high domed ceiling sparkled with holographic stars. Hundreds of different alien species sat in rising tiers, each more strange and colorful than the last. Some had multiple arms, others had no visible eyes. A few seemed to float in their seats without any apparent body. At the center of the chamber stood High Counselor Zixnax, a tall, willowy being with shimmering blue skin. Its 4 eyes blinked in different patterns as it studied the humans. "Welcome, Earthlings," Zixnax's voice boomed, translated instantly into English by the humans' earpieces. "We have awaited your arrival with great interest." Captain Chen bowed slightly. "Thank you, High Counselor. We are honored to be here." A rumble of whispers spread through the chamber. Many of the alien delegates leaned forward, eager to get a better look at the newcomers. "Tell us, humans," a gruff voice called out. It belonged to General Krazak, a bulky, reptilian creature known for his warlike nature. "What can your species offer to the Galactic Council? We have heard that your technology is primitive." Chen's eyes narrowed slightly, but her voice remained calm. "With all due respect, General, I believe you'll find that humans have much to contribute." "Oh." Krazak's scales rippled with amusement. "And what might that be?" Major Smith stepped forward, his hand resting on a strange object at his hip. "For one, our weapons technology is quite advanced." The chamber erupted in laughter. Even High Counselor Zixnax's face twitched in what seemed to be the alien equivalent of a smirk. "Weapons." A tentacled being chortled. "We've seen your spacecraft. They're practically held together with tape and hope." Major Smith's jaw clenched, but he remained silent. Dr. Patel placed a calming hand on his arm. Chen raised her voice to be heard over the din. "We may surprise you. Humanity has a long history of innovation in the face of adversity." "Charming," Krazak sneered. "But this is the Galactic Council, not a primitive tribal gathering. We deal with real power here." The laughter grew louder. Some delegates were almost falling out of their seats with mirth. Others whispered to each other, shaking their heads or appendages in disbelief. Chen looked at her team. Smith's face was red with anger, while Paddle looked nervous but determined. She took a deep breath and made a decision. "High Counselor," she called out, her voice cutting through the noise. "We request a demonstration." The chamber fell silent once more. Zixnax's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. "A demonstration? Of what exactly?" "Our weapons," Chen replied firmly. "Give us a chance to prove ourselves." Murmurs of surprise and excitement rippled through the crowd. Krazak leaned forward, his reptilian eyes gleaming with interest. "Now this," he growled, "I'd like to see." High Counselor Zixnax considered for a moment, its shimmering skin pulsing with thought. Finally, it nodded. "Very well. We shall adjourn to the testing grounds. Earthlings, prepare your weapons." As the chamber began to empty, delegates chattering excitedly, Chen turned to her team. "This is our chance," she said quietly. "Let's show them what humanity can do." Smith nodded grimly, his hand tightening on the strange object at his hip. Patel looked worried but gave a small smile of encouragement. The human delegation followed the stream of alien beings out of the chamber. They walked tall, ignoring the amused glances and barely concealed laughter around them. Little did the Galactic Council know, they were about to witness something that would change the course of intergalactic history forever. The testing grounds were a vast, empty space on the outskirts of the Galactic Council's main city. As the human delegation arrived, they saw alien spectators filling up floating platforms high above the ground. The air buzzed with excitement and mockery. Captain Sarah Chen stood tall, flanked by Dr. Amit Patel and Major John Smith. They faced a sea of alien faces, most wearing expressions of amusement or disdain. High Counselor Zixnax floated down to their level, its shimmering blue skin reflecting the harsh sunlight. "Earthlings," it said, voice amplified for all to hear, "you have requested a chance to demonstrate your weapons." A ripple of laughter swept through the crowd. Chen nodded firmly. "We're ready, High Counselor." General Krazak stomped forward, his reptilian face twisted in a sneer. "Let's not waste time. Show us these advanced weapons of yours." Major Smith stepped forward, pulling out the strange object from his hip. The aliens leaned forward, curious despite themselves. "This," Smith said, his voice steady, "is what we call a handgun. Specifically, a M45A1 pistol." More laughter erupted. "That tiny thing," someone shouted. "It looks like a child's toy." Smith's jaw clenched, but he remained calm. "I assure you, it's quite real, and quite deadly." Zixnax waved a slender arm, and a series of targets appeared at various distances. Some were holographic, others seemed to be made of different materials, metals, crystals, and substances the humans couldn't identify. "Very well," Zixnax said. "Show us what your handgun can do." Smith nodded, took aim, and fired. The sound was deafening in the expectant silence. A nearby crystalline target shattered instantly. The laughter stopped. Murmurs of surprise rippled through the crowd. Smith fired again and again, each shot finding its mark with deadly accuracy. Holographic targets flickered and died. Metal plates were punctured clean through. Even the toughest alien alloys showed significant damage. The testing grounds fell silent. Even General Krazak looked impressed. "Impossible," a tentacle being muttered. "Their technology is too primitive for such precision." Dr. Patel stepped forward. "It's not just about technology," he explained. "It's about human ingenuity, our ability to refine and perfect our tools." Zixnax's four eyes blinked rapidly. "Fascinating. But surely this is the extent of your capabilities." Captain Chen smiled. "Actually, High Counselor, we're just getting started." She nodded to Smith, who holstered his pistol and reached for a larger case. The case opened to reveal a sleek, matte black rifle. The aliens murmured with renewed interest. "This," Smith announced, "is an M110 semi-automatic sniper rifle. It's for long-range precision shooting." New targets appeared, some so far away they were barely visible to the human eye. Smith took aim, his breathing steady. The first shot rang out. A target over a mile away exploded into fragments. Gasps echoed across the testing grounds. Smith continued firing, each shot finding its mark with uncanny accuracy. "Impossible," General Krazak roared. "No primitive species could achieve such accuracy." Chen stepped forward. "As Dr. Patel said, it's not just about technology. It's about skill, training, and the human drive to excel." The crowd was in an uproar now. Some aliens looked frightened, others intrigued. A few were furiously taking notes. High Counselor Zixnax raised its arms for silence. "Earthlings," it said, its voice filled with a new respect, "you have certainly surprised us. Perhaps we were hasty in our judgment." Chen nodded graciously. "Thank you, High Counselor. We hope this demonstration shows that humanity has much to offer the Galactic Council." As the human delegation prepared to leave the testing grounds, they could hear the excited chatter of the alien spectators. Words like incredible, unexpected, and game-changer floated down to them. Dr. Patel leaned close to Chen. "Do you think we've convinced them?" he whispered. Chen watched as General Krazak argued heatedly with a group of military-looking aliens, gesturing wildly towards the humans. "I think," she said slowly, "we've just changed the game entirely." As they walked away, none of them noticed the small, shadowy figure slipping away from the crowd, its many eyes gleaming with a mix of fear and determination. The news of humanity's unexpected capabilities would soon spread far beyond the Galactic Council, for better or for worse. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. News of the humans' weapon demonstration had spread like wildfire, and now the vast room buzzed with a mix of fear, excitement, and heated debate. Captain Sarah Chen stood with her team at the center of the storm. Dr. Amit Patel looked overwhelmed by the noise and commotion, while Major John Smith kept a watchful eye on the more agitated aliens. High Counselor Zixnax raised all four of its arms, calling for order. Silence. Its voice boomed, echoing off the chamber's high ceiling. Gradually, the noise died down. "We must discuss the implications of what we have witnessed," Zixnax continued. "The humans have shown capabilities far beyond what we expected." General Krazak stomped forward, his reptilian scales bristling with agitation. "This changes everything," he growled. "We must reassess our entire defensive strategy." A small furry creature that resembled a blue koala raised a paw. "But surely," it squeaked, "we shouldn't overreact. The humans are still new to interstellar travel. They can't pose a real threat." "Can't pose a threat?" Krazak roared. "Did you see what their weapons did to our strongest alloys? Imagine what they could do to our ships." The chamber erupted into argument once more. Chen exchanged worried glances with her team. This wasn't quite the reaction they had hoped for. Suddenly, a new voice cut through the din. "Friends, please." All eyes turned to see Ambassador Xylara, a tall, elegant being with iridescent wings, glide down to the chamber floor. "Let us not let fear cloud our judgment. This is an opportunity, not a threat." Xylara approached the human delegation, her movements graceful and non-threatening. "Humans," she said, her voice melodious and kind, "your demonstration was most impressive. Tell us, how did your species develop such technology?" Chen stepped forward, grateful for the friendly face. "It's been a long process, Ambassador. Centuries of scientific advancement, coupled with..." She hesitated, then decided on honesty. "Unfortunately, many wars and conflicts." A murmur ran through the crowd. Xylara nodded thoughtfully. "I see. And now that you have joined the galactic community, what are your intentions?" "Peace," Chen said firmly. "Cooperation. We hope to learn from you all, and to share what we know in return." Ambassador Xylara smiled, her wings shimmering with approval. "A noble goal. I, for one, welcome the humans and the new perspectives they bring." But not everyone was convinced. From the shadows, a figure emerged. Drexar, leader of the Volrix Confederation, known for their isolationist and xenophobic views. "Pretty words," Drexar hissed, his black eyes glittering dangerously. "But actions speak louder. The humans come to us with weapons of great destruction. How can we trust their intentions?" The chamber grew tense. Chen felt Smith stiffen beside her, ready for action if needed. High Counselor Zixnax intervened. "These are all valid concerns. It is clear that the arrival of humans has complicated our galactic dynamics." Zixnax turned to Chen. "Captain, we will need time to process this new information and discuss its implications. In the meantime, you and your team will be our honored guests. Ambassador Xylara will see to your accommodations." As the human delegation was led away by Xylara, the council chamber once again erupted into debate. Chen could feel the weight of hundreds of alien gazes on her back as they left. Once in the quiet of the corridor, Dr. Patel spoke up. "Well, that could have gone better," he said nervously. "Or worse," Smith pointed out. "At least we're not in a cell. Or dead." Chen sighed. "This is just the beginning. We've stirred up a hornet's nest here. We need to be careful about our next moves." Ambassador Xylara, overhearing them, chimed in. "Indeed, humans, you have caused quite a stir. But do not lose heart. Change is often met with resistance at first." As they walked, none of them noticed the small drone following them, its camera eye recording their every move. In a dark room far away, Drexar watched the feed, his black eyes narrowing with suspicion. "Enjoy your stay, humans," he muttered to himself. "It may be shorter than you think." The stage was set. The humans had made their entrance onto the galactic scene with a bang. Now, as news of their capabilities spread across the stars, alliances would shift, plans would be made, and the balance of power in the galaxy would never be the same again. The Volrix Confederation's secret base hummed with activity. In a dimly lit room, Drexar, the Volrix leader, stood before a group of shadowy figures. Holographic displays flickered around them, showing images of the human delegation and their weapons demonstration. "Friends," Drexar hissed, his black eyes glinting in the low light, "we face a grave threat. These humans, with their primitive yet deadly weapons, could upset the balance we've worked so hard to maintain." A tall, spindly alien stepped forward. "What do you propose, Drexar? We can't openly move against them without incurring the wrath of the Galactic Council." Drexar's mouth curled into a sinister smile. "We won't need to. I have a plan that will rid us of the human problem, and make us look like heroes in the process." Meanwhile, in their luxurious guest quarters, the human delegation was on high alert. Captain Sarah Chen paced the room, her brow furrowed in concern. "Something's not right," she muttered. "The council's taking too long to reach a decision." Dr. Amit Patel looked up from his datapad. "Maybe they're just being thorough. This is a big change for them." Major John Smith shook his head. "No, Sarah's right. I've got a bad feeling about this. We need more information." Just then, there was a soft knock at the door. Chen nodded to Smith, who readied his weapon before opening it. To their surprise, Ambassador Xylara stood there, looking nervous. "Humans," she whispered, glancing over her shoulder, "I bring grave news. You're in danger." Chen ushered her inside, and Xylara quickly explained. "I overheard Drexar and his allies plotting. They plan to stage an attack on the Council and blame it on you. They'll use replicas of your weapons to make it look like humans are the aggressors." "But that's insane," Patil exclaimed. "Surely the Council won't believe it." Xylara's wings drooped. "With the right evidence, planted in the right places, they might. Many are already wary of your capabilities." Chen's mind raced. "We need to stop this. But how? We're just 3 humans against who knows how many conspirators." Smith grinned, a determined glint in his eye. 3 humans who've already proven we can punch above our weight. Plus, we have an ally." He nodded respectfully to Xylara. "We'll need proof," Chen said, "and a way to present it to the Council before Drexar can launch his false flag operation." Patil raised his hand tentatively. "I might have an idea about that. Remember those drones we noticed following us? If we could hack into one, we could use it to gather evidence." Chen finished, a spark of hope in her eyes. For the next few hours, the small team worked tirelessly. Patel, with Xylara's help, managed to hack into a surveillance drone. Smith prepared for potential combat, while Chen strategized their approach to the Council. As they worked, Drexar's plan was already in motion. In a hidden hangar, Volrix engineers put the finishing touches on human weapon replicas. Mercenaries disguised as Earth soldiers practiced their attack routes. Soon, Drexar gloated to his inner circle. "The humans will be disgraced. The Galactic Council will beg us to protect them from this new threat. And we, the Volrix Confederation, will finally take our rightful place as the supreme power in the galaxy." Little did he know, a small drone buzzed silently in the corner, recording everything. Back in their quarters, the human team and Xylara watched the footage with grim satisfaction. "This is it," Chen said. "The proof we need. But we have to move fast. Xylara, can you get us an emergency audience with the Council?" The ambassador nodded, her wings shimmering with determination. "I'll use every ounce of influence I have. But be prepared. Drexar won't give up easily. This could turn ugly." As they prepared to leave, Smith checked his weapon one last time. "Just another day at the office, eh?" he quipped, trying to lighten the mood. Chen managed a small smile. "Let's go save humanity's reputation, and maybe the galaxy while we're at it." With that, the unlikely team of 3 humans and an alien ambassador set out to stop a conspiracy that threatened to plunge the entire Galactic Council into chaos. The next few hours would determine not just the fate of humanity, but the future of intergalactic peace itself. The Galactic Council chamber was in an uproar. Alarms blared as panicked aliens rushed in all directions. In the midst of the chaos, Captain Sarah Chen, Dr. Amit Patel, and Major John Smith fought their way through the crowd, led by the determined Ambassador Xilara. "We're too late," Patel shouted over the noise. "Drexar's attack has already begun." As if to confirm his words, a massive explosion rocked the building. The ceiling cracked, raining debris on the fleeing council members. "We need to get to the High Counselor," Chen yelled. "It's our only chance to stop this." Suddenly, a group of armed figures burst through the main doors. They wore crude imitations of human military uniforms, wielding replicas of Earth weapons. "Look," one alien counselor screamed. "The humans are attacking us." Smith's face darkened with anger. "Those aren't humans," he growled, "but I'll show them how a real human soldier fights." Before Chen could stop him, Smith had drawn his pistol and fired. His shot struck the lead attacker's weapon, shattering it. The imposter yelped in pain and surprise, his disguise falling away to reveal a Volrix mercenary. The chamber fell silent for a moment as everyone stared in shock. Then, chaos erupted anew. "It's a trick." Silara's voice rang out. "The humans are innocent. We have proof." But her words were drowned out by the sound of more explosions. The attack was intensifying. Chen made a split-second decision. "Smith, guard Silara and Paddle. Get that evidence to whoever's in charge. I'm going to find Drexar and end this." Before anyone could argue, she sprinted off, dodging panicked aliens and falling debris. Meanwhile, in a hidden command center, Drexar watched the unfolding chaos with glee. "Everything is going according to plan," he hissed to his lieutenants. "Soon, the council will beg us to protect them from the human threat." Suddenly, one of his subordinates let out a startled cry. "Sir, our operatives report that the humans are fighting back against our forces." Drexar's eyes narrowed. Impossible. How could they have known? Back in the council chamber, Smith was a whirlwind of action. His Earth weapons, far superior to the replicas, made short work of the attackers. Aliens watched in awe as he single-handedly held off a dozen Volrix mercenaries. Patel, usually timid, found courage in the heat of battle. He managed to access the chamber's communication system, broadcasting the evidence of Drexar's plot throughout the council building. Silara flew above the crowd, her voice amplified. "Everyone, the attack is a deception. The humans are here to help us." Slowly, the tide began to turn. Alien security forces, now aware of the true threat, joined Smith in fighting off the attackers. Meanwhile, Chen had fought her way to Drexar's hidden command center. She burst through the door, her weapon at the ready. "It's over, Drexar," she said, her voice cold as steel. "Call off your attack." The Volrix leader's black eyes glittered with hatred. "You've ruined everything," he snarled, lunging at her with surprising speed. Chen barely dodged his attack. They grappled fiercely, human strength and training against alien agility and desperation. As they fought, Chen managed to activate her communication device. The sounds of their struggle, and Drexar's enraged confessions, were broadcast throughout the council building. In the chamber, the last of the attackers were being subdued. Smith, battered but unbowed, helped Silara and Paddle restore order. Suddenly, Shen's voice crackled over the speakers, followed by the sound of a fierce struggle. Everyone froze, listening intently. "You humans," Drexar's voice hissed, "with your weapons and your meddling. You've destroyed my plans for galactic dominance. A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. The final piece of evidence they needed. Back in the command center, Chen finally gained the upper hand. With a mighty effort, she pinned Drexar to the ground. "No, Drexar," she panted. "We've stopped you from destroying galactic peace, and we did it not just with our weapons, but with courage, teamwork, and truth." As security forces rushed in to apprehend Drexar, Shan allowed herself a small smile. The battle was over. Now came the hard part, building trust in a galaxy that had nearly been torn apart by fear and deception. But as she looked at the relieved and grateful faces of the aliens around her, Chen felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps this crisis had shown everyone that humans were more than just their weapons. They were potential allies, friends, and protectors of galactic peace. The Galactic Council would never laugh at humans again, but perhaps now they could learn to work together for a better future for all species. The dust had barely settled in the Galactic Council chamber. Debris littered the floor, and the air was thick with tension. Captain Sarah Chen stood before the assembled alien representatives, her uniform torn and dirty, but her stance proud and unwavering. High Counselor Zixnax, looking shaken but determined, addressed the crowd. "We have witnessed unprecedented events today, thanks to the bravery of the human delegation and Ambassador Xelara. A terrible plot has been foiled." Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Many aliens still looked wary of the humans, while others seemed curious or even admiring. Chen stepped forward. "High Counselor, esteemed members of the Galactic Council, we came here seeking peace and cooperation. Instead, we found ourselves defending not just our own reputation, but the very stability of your government." She paused, looking around the room. "We understand your fear of our weapons, but today we hope we've shown you that humanity's true strength lies not in our firearms, but in our determination, our adaptability, and our willingness to stand up for what's right." Dr. Amit Patel, his usual nervousness replaced by a quiet confidence, spoke up. "We have much to learn from your advanced civilizations, but perhaps we have something to offer in return, a fresh perspective, and a reminder that progress often comes from unexpected places." Major John Smith, still on alert, added gruffly, "And if anyone else tries to mess with the council, they'll have to go through us first." A ripple of laughter spread through the chamber, breaking the tension. Even Zixnax's 4 eyes crinkled in what seemed to be amusement. Ambassador Xelara glided forward, her wings shimmering. "My fellow council members, I stand with the humans. They have proven themselves to be valuable allies. I propose we not only accept them into our galactic community, but also learn from them." The chamber erupted in discussion. Not everyone was convinced, but the mood had shifted dramatically from the fear and suspicion of before. Suddenly, alarms blared again. A holographic display flickered to life in the center of the room, showing a massive fleet of ships approaching the council planet. "It's the Volrix Confederation," someone shouted. "They're launching a full-scale attack." Panic began to spread, but Chen's voice cut through the chaos. "Everyone, remain calm. We can help." She turned to Zixnax. "High Counselor, if you'll allow it, we have a plan. But we'll need your trust and your technology." Zixnax hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "You have proven yourselves, humans. What do you need?" What followed was a flurry of activity. Patel worked with alien scientists, quickly adapting human combat strategies to the Council's advanced shield technology. Smith coordinated with the Council's defense forces, sharing tactics that the Volrix would never expect. Chen, meanwhile, took command of a squadron of the Council's fastest ships. As the Volrix fleet approached, expecting an easy victory, they were met with a surprising defense. The Council's shields, now pulsing with modifications inspired by human tech, easily deflected the Volrix's initial assault. Then, Chen's squadron struck, using maneuvers that left the enemy confused and disoriented. On the ground, Smith led a mixed team of humans and aliens to root out any remaining Volrix infiltrators, their diverse skills complementing each other perfectly. Back in the council chamber, Patil and Silara worked tirelessly, coordinating the defense and keeping morale high. Patil's quick thinking and Silara's diplomatic skills proved to be a powerful combination. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the tide was turning. The Volrix, expecting to face a fractured and fearful council, instead found themselves up against a united front, strengthened by human ingenuity. Finally, after hours of intense fighting, the Volrix fleet began to retreat. Cheers erupted in the council chamber and across the planet. Chen's voice crackled over the comms. The Volrix are withdrawing. We've won. As the news spread, the mood in the chamber transformed. Aliens who had once looked at the humans with suspicion now approached them with gratitude and curiosity. Zixnax raised all four arms for silence. Today marks a new era for the Galactic Council, it announced. We faced a grave threat, and we prevailed, thanks in no small part to our new human allies. The High Counselor turned to Chen, Patel, and Smith. Humanity has proven itself not just through the strength of its weapons, but through its courage, innovation, and loyalty. We would be honored to formally welcome Earth into the Galactic Council. As applause filled the chamber, Chen shared a proud look with her team. They had come to the council hoping to prove humanity's worth. Instead, they had found a new home among the stars and helped forge a stronger, more united galaxy. The council had indeed laughed at human guns, but now they cheered for human hearts and minds. One standard galactic year had passed since the fateful day when humanity proved its worth to the Galactic Council. The Grand Council Chamber, once a place of suspicion and fear towards humans, now buzzed with excitement as delegates from across the galaxy gathered for a historic event. Captain Sarah Chen, now Admiral Chen, stood tall at the center of the chamber. Beside her were Dr. Amit Patel, looking considerably more confident than he had a year ago, and Major John Smith, who had been promoted to colonel. Ambassador Xilara hovered nearby, her wings shimmering with pride. High Counselor Zixnax raised all four of its arms for silence. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, honored guests, today we witness a momentous occasion. For the first time in 10,000 years, we welcome a new species to full membership in the Council. Humanity has proven itself not just through strength, but through wisdom, courage, and an unbreakable spirit of cooperation. Applause thundered through the chamber. Chen stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. On behalf of Earth and all of humanity, we are honored to accept this invitation. We come not to dominate, but to learn, to share, and to work alongside you all for a better galaxy. As Chen spoke, holographic displays flickered to life around the chamber, showing scenes from the past year. Humans and aliens working side by side to rebuild after the Volrix attack. Earth scientists collaborating with alien researchers, making breakthroughs in medicine and technology. Human diplomats mediating conflicts between species that had been at odds for centuries. Patil cleared his throat nervously, but his voice was steady. When we first arrived here, we were seen as primitive because of our weapons, but we've shown that humanity's true strength lies in our adaptability, our creativity, and our desire to understand and connect with others. Colonel Smith, usually a man of few words, surprised everyone by speaking next. We came prepared for war, but found a chance for peace. Don't get me wrong, we'll still fight if we have to. But now we fight for all of us, for the whole galaxy. Silara glided forward. My fellow council members, the addition of humanity to our ranks has already brought about great change. Their unique perspective has challenged us to think differently, to question old assumptions, and to strive for better solutions. The chamber erupted in agreement. Species that had once viewed each other with suspicion were now engaged in animated discussion, sharing ideas, and making plans. Zixnax raised its arms once more. And now we shall unveil the symbol of this new era of cooperation. A large object, covered in shimmering fabric, was brought into the center of the chamber. With a flourish, the cover was removed, revealing a stunning sculpture. It depicted representatives from various alien species and a human, all standing together, their hands, or equivalent appendages, joined in unity. At the base, words in multiple languages declared, "Strength in diversity, unity in understanding." As the council members admired the sculpture, Chen turned to her team. "We've come a long way," she said softly. Patel nodded, his eyes shining. "From being laughed at to being celebrated, it's almost hard to believe." "Believe it, Doc," Smith said gruffly, but there was a smile on his face. "We earned this." Celara landed gently beside them. "You have indeed, my friends, and this is just the beginning." As the ceremony continued, news of humanity's full acceptance into the Galactic Council spread across the stars. On Earth, people celebrated in the streets. In alien worlds far and wide, there was a sense of hope and excitement about the future. The galaxy was entering a new age. Old rivalries were being set aside in favor of cooperation. The combined knowledge and skills of hundreds of species, now including humanity, promised advancements beyond imagination. And it had all started because the Galactic Council laughed at human guns. They had underestimated humanity's weapons, but in doing so, they had discovered something far more powerful, the human spirit. As the celebration in the council chamber reached its peak, Admiral Chen looked out at the sea of diverse faces, human and alien alike. She smiled, knowing that whatever challenges the future might hold, they would face them together. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and humanity had finally taken its place among the stars.